Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I'm your host, Xavier, and today, I believe actually marks, gentlemen, if you can correct me or not, today actually marks Day of the Dead. So we figured we wanted to do a special Day of the Dead episode and revisit one of Pixar's best. Yes, you guessed that right. We are going to be talking about Coco. But before we get right into the discussion on this amazing, incredible animated film, let me introduce the rest of the Popcorn Watchlist panel. We have Danny. Say hello.
Hola.
Oh, okay. I see what we're doing here. We have Anthony.
Bienvenidos.
And we have Zach.
I am back. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo está?
¿Cómo estás?
Zach is back from his journeys and adventures.
Month-long vacation.
Yeah, in the up in the Great White North.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that white, but it was still cold.
It was white the second half of my time there.
Right,
it
good for
snowed
you.
very heavily.
Good for you. Well, glad to have you back, Zach. And so, to kind of, ease us back into everything, Danny and I figured let's talk about a fun movie that is an amazing watch and rewatch. And it also commemorates the special Day of the Dead. So, getting right into Coco, Danny, hit us with some facts about the movie.
Oh, just thrown right in there.
Just going right in there. Yes, sir.
Hit us with the car facts.
Bienvenidos a Miami, Zach. That's what it is.
Will Smith?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, like X mentioned.
I was going to say, like,
You say like, yeah,
I just
don't get
slapped him in the
slapped.
face with that one. But yeah. Too soon.
Well, like X mentioned, we are recording this on Dia de los Muertos, which is the 1st to the 2nd of November.
This is indeed true.
This is at the time of recording because it will release on the 3rd. So, but Coco released in 2017.
That's correct. I remember it was like November of 2017.
Yeah.
Man, I thought it was. I don't know why I thought it was the year before. Wow, so 2017.
You thought it was 2016? I thought it was initially 2018, and then I was rewatching. I was like, oh man, this is real. Yeah.
Yeah, because it came out towards the end of 2017, so I guess I can.
I mean,
confusion.
November's a good release time for this.
Yeah.
What day in November
Not the second.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
It would have been
cool,
nice, but
like maybe they did an early release for.
let me
Let's
see.
find out.
Is
2017.
early
find
release?
out.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. So yeah,
Let's find
main release was
out.
2017.
2017. So the second would have been on a Thursday,
Oh.
November 22nd.
but did it?
Oh.
There you go.
It released 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Sure.
November 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
So
Not exactly Day of the Dead, but
budget-wise, the movie's budget was between 175 to 225 million.
That's a lot for a Pixar
Yep.
movie. Damn.
Yeah.
For an animated movie in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at it.
But when you look at the box office numbers worldwide, it made 814 million.
Dude,
That's
like
that's
Marvel
like
money.
3.5 times. the money. Yeah.
Marvel money.
That's a huge box office.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I think there was a
crazy.
good, and the movie had legs. Like it definitely.
kept going.
It
Went
made
for-
210 million opening weekend, which is also really good.
That's a wow. That's a big.
That's its budget.
Yeah, it
Opening weekend.
made almost its budget opening weekend,
Man.
and not including marketing costs.
pre-COVID days were great, man.
Pre-COVID days were great.
For Pixar.
It's also
For movies,
Pixar, yes.
movies,
It's
but
also
yeah, for
like,
Pixar.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
I'm pretty
also-
sure like it's a good movie, and word of mouth was like, hey, this movie's great.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
It's one of those where like you think it's only going to target a single demographic, and it turns out no, this had universal appeal and universal acclaim.
we all know Pixar isn't for kids.
Yeah, it's for
It's for adults.
It's for tortured adults with existential crises. Yeah,
With past
Couldn't have said
trauma.
it better myself.
I'm still not forgiving Inside Out for scarring me for the rest of my life. But anyway,
Bing bong.
oh god, King Bong.
I mean, just watch the first 10 minutes of Up.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
Oh my god,
beginning-
that was
And the beginning of Finding Nemo, where like the mom just straight up gets
spoilers.
barracuda.
Yeah,
Barracuda.
and the eggs get
Yeah, they made a
barracuda.
song about it. It's crazy.
Or they made the movie based off the song. No, so going back to Coco, and basically give you a kind of like rundown. The movie's basically about a young man named Miguel who has a sort of family legacy of music. He wants to be a musician and a mariachi, but there is a sort of like unwritten rule in the family that they're not going to have any music because music tore the family apart. And it turns out on the Day of the Dead, he, in trying to connect with a supposed ancestor in a famous musician Ernesto de la Cruz, he somehow finds his way into the land of the dead and crosses over during that time. And hijinks ensues, and he's got to find a way to get back while still helping out his long-lost relative continue to be remembered. So, surprised. That's a pretty decent synopsis.
Damn,
I just
what a
putting that
rundown.
up on the top. Yeah. The movies, like Anthony mentioned
What else
already,
happened?
like the movie's incredibly animated. Like all the different colors, the stylistic choices on everything going through is incredible. I like thematically, I think the movie's incredible too. There are some really, really nice like callbacks to various different points in Mexican culture, Latin culture in general. But again, universal themes about family and just getting chasing after your passions and being true to yourself. A lot of really good universal themes there, and the cast is great too. We had more chance for our boy Gael Garcia Bernal to shine as Hector. Funny enough, he also did the Spanish dub for his own character.
Cool.
You had Benjamin Bratt as Ernesto de la Cruz. And the kid who played Miguel, I remember like it was almost like sort of like breakout. I was like, man, this kid is great. I think he did his own. He did his own singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did his own singing. Alana Ubach was Mama Himelda, who was the other matriarch from the Land of the Dead, trying to get him back. Other famous cast members, Jaime Camil was I think Miguel's dad. You had Gabriel Iglesias as one of the store clerks.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
Edward James Olmos.
Edward James Olmos was Chicharron, the friend that's Hector's friend, like the spot where everybody's kind of like stuck forgotten. And then I'm remembering. Oh yeah, one of the corrections officer was Cheech Marin, and then so that I thought that was really funny. But the whole
See,
like,
I would have expected Cheech
Pretty
Marin to play Cheech.
Cheech was Cheech. No man, they're in a small Mexican town. It's not gonna actually be him. And Cheech is alive, so why would he be dead?
Well, because one of the characters was. Cheech
But
Marin
he's
was
a
Cheech.
corrections officer in the Land of the Dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the Land of the Dead as a corrections officer, but he thought Cheech Marin would have been a cameo as himself.
No.
Oh,
I thought
like
Cheech.
him being dead?
No, I thought Cheech would have been Chicharron. Cheech.
Oh,
Because
Cheech-
Hector called him
Chicharron?
Cheech.
Yeah. No, yeah. He called Cheech Chicharron Cheech, which was
Yeah.
Edward James Olmos, and he was
'Cause in
trying
my
to
head,
get
I'm
through
like-
to these kids.
In my head, I was like, okay, maybe Cheech Marin.
He also wasn't on Battlestar Galactica.
So say we all.
Oh boy. So yeah, that movie's just it's overall great. I love the attention to music. So not only like the score of the film, but like the original songs that were created for it. Like I think people still remember me. No pun intended.
Before you go any further, speaking of the score,
Who did the score, Anthony?
the GOAT,
That's the GOAT. It's our boy Michael Giacchino.
Miguel I was trying to
Miguel.
No.
Latinize his name, but it's Michael Giacchino.
Yeah. What's Michael in
So good.
Miguel.
Miguel,
Yeah,
right?
Miguel? No?
Yeah.
Is it Miguel?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Miguel. Yeah.
Michael
Or Michel?
Michel. No.
Mikhail Jordan? No.
No.
Miguel. No, it is Miguel.
Yeah, I believe it's Miguel.
Yeah, it is Miguel. Miguel Aquino.
Giacchino.
No, no, the G is W. It's just gonna be W. Anyway, I'm not gonna do this. Not gonna do this anymore. We're not gonna butcher it.
But yeah, once again, he's like
But
Pixar's boy. He's done a lot of Pixar movies, and
Fun little fact. Also tying in Michael Giacchino with Gael Garcia Bernal, Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
He's the
Sure.
main character. He's Jack Russell. So I guess I don't know if the connection was there when they were doing it, but it worked. Good job, Coco. You brought them together. They made great stuff. But yeah, man, I loved like Anthony. I don't know if you want to go further into like the details of the animation itself, from like different colors and the
It's
callbacks
just-
to different stuff.
it's
Mexican
just like
culture.
yeah, when you're talking about the budget of the movie, you're like, yeah, it's kind of high, but like animation takes a long time. It takes longer than live action movies most of the time. Some of these Pixar movies take like 5 years to make. So like when you see a lot of Pixar movies, because there's so much attention to detail, like you just, and you hear the budget, you're like, I mean, I get it, because they probably spent that money over these whatever 5 years. And this movie, just like a lot of the older Pixar movies, where it's just like maybe like Wall-E and other movies that are like crazy detailed, and Toy Story, with like all the cloths on like Woody and all the toys and everything like that. Like the attention to detail of just like the town itself that they live in, all the different colors, all the, you know, the, what do you call it, like the rust or like the old timey style of the town, that I'm sure they went to Mexico and filmed real life footage and said, hey, this place looks good, let's replicate this area. And I'm sure they did it to the T,
They have-
because Pixar does stuff
The
like
plaza
that.
like that they had there in the main town square. The plaza like legit.
There's a couple behind the scenes like videos on Disney Plus.
I've seen some of them where they talk about like how they did the, like, you know, those beautiful just like pan
like,
shots of when he first enters into the land of the dead, and they like, I don't even think it was a painting, like they actually like went in and like painted or a color like and made lights for
Each,
all the
yeah.
like individual houses
Yeah, I
that they're
remember-
shown.
I
Like
remember
it's not
seeing
just like a
something
flat
about that.
painting, and they're like, no, we made each individual like square house and everything, and it's like,
Yeah, I think
I-
one of the animators
it's
said there were
insane.
like thousands of
yeah,
like
thousands of light.
sources.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
that
like
they
like
made.
those are the things where it's like they didn't need to do that. Like
They didn't need to,
They
but
didn't
you're
do-
like,
but they
man.
did.
they
and it
did,
made-
and just like there's a good amount of scenes. There's not too many, but there's maybe like, I'd say like 4 or 5 scenes where it's like you see the vast
Those
like
big shots.
big shot of like, this is the land of the, like, damn.
And
this
seeing
is,
this in the theater, I remember watching it the first
Yeah.
time. And it's just it's awe striking.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible.
like those are the type of scenes that if it was live action, you'd be like, wow. It's one of those like you see it in an IMAX screen, and it would be like, damn, give this person, like the cinematographer, give them an Oscar. But it's like, no, this is just animated, and people took the time to actually like draw that, color it, animate it, and yeah, it's insane. So
So for details, this movie took 6 years to
there
make.
you go. There you go.
we were like, about 5. Like no, 6.
6.
Wow.
And then
And that's probably because of all of that lighting and
Yeah.
the colors.
Yeah.
That's insane. And then even the characters themselves, the Pixar, I guess at the time, they've only have done a couple movies with like human looking characters in them. So it's like that was not like their cup of tea. They're used to doing inanimate objects or animals,
which
or
they can get away
creatures.
with making it look
Right.
better.
So, but then when they do like Up or even like Wall-E, where they have the human characters, you know, they're like very cartoony human characters.
Style,
But
like, hell, even Luca, and
Right.
Soul, like they have this kind of different style to them.
right, so it's like they've been getting better and better with, you know, their style of how they make humans. And yeah, and this one, it looks great. All the characters, you don't even question. Like, yeah, like you feel like you're in.
And this is
You're in this town in Mexico, and you feel like this is how it should be. And it's like they, just like we said earlier, like they do their homework, they know what they're doing, and it's not just like a quick like, oh, let's sort of make a
Yeah.
semi Mexican movie and see what we can get away with. It's like, no, I'm sure they spent like a year or two doing
Just
like their research,
yeah.
and then like the rest of the time it was like the animation. So like you can tell it's on the screen, and when you read off the money of the budget, you're like, yeah, I get it, and it was worth
paid
it.
off.
It definitely paid off because they made Marvel money with this movie.
Yeah.
Dude, 800 million. I think that's what Guardians of the Galaxy 3 just made.
yeah.
Like that's pretty crazy.
It's honestly like kind of it helps make the case that animation is its own thing. It's not just hey, it's animated, we're gonna have something that's gonna be fun for the kids. It's like, no, like this is a respectable medium to tell stories, and when you have such artisanal craftsmanship from an animated standpoint, highlighting these things, it only adds to like everything we talked about earlier of like how it accentuates that and just elevates it to a whole new level. Like it really like set a new like bar and standard, I think, for all that.
And the pedigree of the movie, the guy who directed it.
Yeah,
is
one of the co-directors co-directed like some of the heavy hitters of Pixar.
Lee Unkrich.
Yeah, he co-directed with Adrian Molina, but Lee Unkrich has been involved in, I'll let Anthony go through the list of this, because when you
Yeah.
actually go through, you're just like, holy crap, this is out of hand. Like let it
like he's been part of Pixar for a while, but like when he started doing directing, he started co-directing Toy Story 2. He co-directed Monsters Inc. He co-directed Finding Nemo, and then he was the main director of Toy Story 3, and then the main director of this movie. So you know, it's just some decent movies.
Yeah.
Some decent
Quite a
movies from
resume.
Pixar, but yeah, it's like. This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
Then
and Adrian Molina is
he was
gonna
a co-director on
He's
this
a co-director
one,
on this one.
yeah.
He's going to be directing Solo Elio whenever it comes out.
nice.
Yeah, so it's. I know it got pushed back to like 2025, but
Whatever they have
you know,
to
they
do
have
to
do
make it
clean
make
up,
it good, man.
make it good. I'm cool with that too. Yeah, I agree. So it's on top of that. We already talked about Giacchino doing the music. It's the award winner for Up and Ratatouille, and he helped with creating he helped create some of the original songs too, because it won original song. Was it Remember Me or was it? I think it was Remember Me. I don't think it was Un Poco
Or was it the
Loco.
other one? No, I think it was. I actually think it was another song. I don't remember at the time though.
No, it was Remember Me.
Yeah, it was
Best
Remember Me.
achievement in music written for motion pictures.
Okay.
Remember Me. Because it was the Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez.
Yeah,
They're the ones who
they
won
did.
the Oscar for it.
Yeah, because they sang like the actual studio version, right?
They
Not the
wrote,
one-
They wrote the song, but these guys they've been the heavy hitters writing the music for a whole bunch of Disney stuff. They also did the music for WandaVision,
Oh, cool.
which was on point because every theme in every episode, obviously, of WandaVision was its own special homage to every episode. Like they even did the Malcolm in the Middle style one, which was they did every episode. And it was awesome. They did the Frozen song, so that's why they're just rolling in the bank there. They're too good. Yeah, I mean, going through some of I don't know, I don't want to recap the entire movie, but I want to. Oh, go ahead, Danny.
Before we move on, since we were talking about music and Anthony mentioning the detailed,
Oh yeah, the guitar stuff.
the guitar,
Oh,
I
with
remember
the
that, yeah.
strumming.
So-
they actually had to
everything
mocap.
was accurate.
Yep.
Well, someone playing a guitar, it was accurate. The notes were accurate. The way that they would strum or
You're a resident
play the
guitar
part.
player, so I know
Me
you
and
did-
Zach.
Yeah, you guys both got a
man.
chance to. You guys, I bet when you watched this, you're like, "This is legit."
Yeah, I think the first time we saw it, I was just so focused on it. I was like, "Oh, okay, he
did
really
that.
is." Yeah, it's not like a
Well, there was a whole maybe a few minute video that they did back
Talking
when we
about
came
it,
out where
yeah.
they talked about it, which is where I of course remember that bit of trivia from,
yeah.
which is insane.
Because normally when you look at animation and music, obviously they're not really playing most of the time. Yeah, it's similar, but it's not
They make it look
exact.
They make
yeah.
it look believable.
Yeah.
because
Good enough.
you're
Good
not going to
enough.
notice those little details.
Yeah.
But Pixar being
here-
Pixar, they're gonna.
You were zoomed in on the fretboard with the fingers on it, looking at all the chords. It was you couldn't fake it.
Yeah, that's.
I love it.
That's
When,
awesome.
I
That
love it
detail.
when that happens. That's just especially for those who recognize it. You're like, oh man, they paid attention or they're doing this right, because with it being such a core kind of trait for Miguel and the whole idea of just this legacy of music with the family, that's you had to do it right.
And that kind of
They didn't have to.
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't
But-
have to, but they did, and
They could have just been a little
adds-
farther
it adds
away
it.
and kind of blurred it a little bit. you know? It
but
would've
no,
been
when they
fine.
went
No.
in deep with the fretting, is
You can see the string, how detailed the string was.
Yeah, when it vibrates
Yeah.
when it's played, it looks.
And this kind of paved the way too for later on when they did soul, with the
Yes,
piano
with
and
the piano,
the band,
the whole band, the trumpet
so,
player.
yeah.
As a trumpet player myself, I was like, oh, this is it's pretty cool. Oh man.
Okay, actually, okay.
All right, you're gonna go it.
So I actually saw a video. There's a famous. He would do TikTok, but he does YouTube also. I think I forgot his name. Something Cornell. He actually reviewed that whole beginning part where the guy from Soul, he's playing the piano piece in front of his students, and he even pointed out that there were probably a few wrong notes from what was played versus what was
On the piano?
what he was playing on the piano.
Yeah.
So that might be like the one exception.
It's like one little part, but no, like from.
But on this one,
On this
they
one,
nailed it.
they were trying to get it like nailed, like perfect.
I blame Trent Reznor. No, I'm kidding.
And also a little Easter egg. Later on in the movie, when there's a conductor in a symphony going for the show for De La Cruz, the conductor is Giacchino, but it's like a skeleton,
Yeah.
a dead version of him.
The one that breaks the.
Yeah.
Yeah, after everybody finds out that De La Cruz is a fraud, like he looks at him and he's like, "Come on, maestro!" And he just goes, "Hell no!" and breaks that junk. But going into like those kind of moments, like what were some of your guys' favorite moments?
Charles Cornell, that's his name.
Charles Cornell, yes, that's his name. I know it was a C.
Well, we were just rewatching it here, and there was a. We were talking about like that twist. No, it wasn't the twist. It was the. The twist when you find out that he's the dad to Coco.
Yeah, where Hector's daughter is actually Mama Coco. Yeah.
And me and Zach were saying, like, we remember we were in the movie theater and everyone was just like, like gasps in Spanish.
It's a very audible, like,
A dog and a guest.
There were a lot. Okay, when especially like especially we're down here and the audience is kind of privy to a lot of this stuff. Like the initial scenes when you have the mariachis like in the town hall, and then like the aunt, was it the aunt or the grandmother? The grandmother rolls up with la chancleta and
The grandma.
and the grandma comes out and the whole theater is like, "Yup, this is accurate."
That happens every day.
Yeah, it's like, this is accurate.
That's the
That man
ultimate
knows.
detail that they made.
Yeah.
And my favorite is when Dante comes in and she gets the sandal and like throws it across.
Mm-hmm.
And then she keeps walking like without the sandal, and she's like,
Go get it.
"Go get it."
Yeah, you go get it. He's like, yes. Yeah, he's like, no, go get it. It's just like that was totally like accurate. Like, oh yeah, like you get smacked with it, and then you have to go pick it up. Or yeah, absolutely accurate. I also like the kind of like I really like the jaguar like kind of like
The spirit animal?
animal
Mhm.
that's in the realm of the dead, like that, like all the different colors, the fluorescent colors, that I thought was really cool. And it's fun to note that jaguar is basically like the S tier rank of all cats. Like if it's the ultimate like big cat, like the best like apex predator. Whatever. I saw there's an old video. It's an old video once that this guy was ranking different cats, and he's like jaguar is S tier, like you cannot mess with
They have
jaguars.
the strongest.
They have the strongest bites. They can actually adeptly swim. They climb trees. They're too good. You cannot mess with jaguars, and that's why like the jaguar came through, especially at the end, and put a whooping on the dude, on Ernesto de la Cruz. I also really dug the animated like kind of backstory when they got into the whole history of Ernesto de la Cruz. I thought it was like fun and unique to talk about like, oh, the way he died was like this, like, you know, he's so bolero awesome that he had to have a giant campana like just fall down and kill him, and then so he goes in and becomes like, you know, a hero in the dead. Yeah, those little things and the idea of just like the wild cult of personality with Ernesto de la Cruz. It's like, oh man, this guy is totally on top of the world in death as well as in life. And then like the plot twist when you realize he's actually garbage makes it
When
even
he's
better.
the villain.
Yeah. And I love at the very end that the ofrenda is just like, oh, you know, remember the family of Hector. It's just like, but not him.
Forget me.
Well, yeah, because they had like a whole shrine to him, and it was like a bust of his face, and it said "Remember me." And then by the end of the movie, they wrote "Forget you" at the top,
Yeah.
like on his face.
Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
the whole idea is just like, oh, we still have like his guitar or anything. I was like, that's what Miguel was playing in the beginning, and it kind of like, you know, caught the attention and got him into the realm of the dead. But I know there were some other great moments. I don't know if you guys you remember recalling some fun, you know, other fun stuff, like Hector trying to like sneak into the land of the living just for, you know, for during the Day of the Dead, and it's just like, dang, stupid flowered bridge again.
He was sinking in it.
Yeah, it's just like he's not able. Yeah, it's just not physical for him.
I like how multiple times he tried coming off as Frida Kahlo, just so like he could always be accepted to wherever the like party or anything like that.
That
he would get even the lady like was it the corrections officers or the people that would like scan their
like
face
their TSA
and allow them to go
yeah.
to the real world.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
Ooh,
they'll tell them like, oh, you have a fake unibrow. And it's like, you're not free to come.
Yeah, it's like that's not the real unibrow. No, those are really good stuff.
And then we had like it's when Miguel was looking at the video of Ernesto de la
Yeah.
Cruz, like in his little like attic or little spot.
Yeah, 'cause, like he
like the
worshipped this
DVD,
guy. Yeah, it's just like, this guy's incredible.
He's like replaying the same thing over and over again.
Same movies.
But it has like that quote of like, oh, seize your moment and this and that. But then once you get evil de la
yeah.
Cruz, then that quote turns the other way.
I seized my moment by
Yeah.
poisoning my best friend.
He's pretty much like, I did whatever it took.
I did what I had to do.
His face when he was telling Miguel, or he's like, oh, you don't believe I'm a murderer, do you? And his eyes kind of like
Yeah.
get like this like it's crazy, like bug-eyed white.
Yeah, like because it's the sunken eyes from the skeleton.
Yeah,
Like you see there's still like that scary like
Look into your
needles for
soul.
eyes. Yeah, like stare into your soul. Like you don't think I am right? And he's like, no. Like
Just
it's
take
even,
me back.
It's even there. Like when you even go to like Disney and they do anything that's related to Coco, and you see like Ernesto de la Cruz or anything else like that. That's still freaky. Like it's still like cool, but it's also still freaky because of the character too. So it's well written, really well written.
Sidetrack, like those costumes that Disney has are just freaking crazy how good they are.
Yeah, they're pretty
Where
legit.
at
I've seen some.
the, at the Mexican area, the Mexican
Yeah,
pavilion.
yeah,
Yeah.
the costumes that they have are scary good.
Because they have one for Ernesto de la Cruz. And
Yeah, it's like it looks.
It's really
it
good.
looks so good.
with the guitar, too.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Oh man,
I want that replica.
I gotta go see that in person one of these days.
Dave's gonna go in there and steal that guitar. It's like I did it, and now I can't.
I think they're like trying to make that area even more with Coco, because I know like
They should.
half of it has Coco stuff, and then the other half is still like the
Three
original
Amigos.
stuff.
Well,
It's still the Three Amigos ride.
But which
Yeah.
park is this?
This is at
Epcot.
in the Mexican pavilion.
Oh, okay.
Like they've added more for sure for
Yeah,
Coco. Like
yeah.
in that when you walk in, like that whole thing has a bunch of like
Yeah, it's
Coco
like when you first
memorabilia.
walk in, it's like the Day of the Dead. What do you call it? Decorations with like you're saying with the
Coco.
That's
with the
smart.
costume.
Yeah, it's a property that made you again how much? Like $822 million in the global box office. Yeah, man, rep it. Show it some love. Let me see what else.
And then obviously the heartfelt scenes.
Oh man, yeah.
The
whole
first
movie,
one,
jeez.
yeah.
Even just so from the beginning, like when you see all like the family members there, like they're like crossed over, like that was. I remember in the theater, like people straight up beginning to sob. It was like,
Yeah.
holy
the
crap!
beginning of the movie, guys.
Yeah, it's like Pixar did it again, but it's happy tears. Like everybody's there, like happy tears, as opposed to like the other stuff we were
Yeah.
into. So it's like this is great, and then like you have the whole roller coaster of emotions. It's
Well, then like
So
halfway into the movie, you got the part where they're trying to get a guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and then they meet a friend, and he's about to pass away again because
yeah, I forgot.
there's no more memories.
Yeah, was that Chicharron?
Yeah,
yeah, it was Chicharron. It was Edward James Olmos' character. Yeah.
And then that's the realization that he's like, oh, like no one else is remembering me. Like that's when you double die. No, that's what they call the final death.
Yeah, that's like it's gone forever, and that's the reason why you have the ofrendas, like you have it there so that you have the legacy of family and it being like stay true to your family loves you, and just like and even there at the very end with like Mama Imelda's just like you think they're gonna berate them, it's like music tore the family apart. It's just like I remember it's like no more music, no, that your family loves you very much. It's just like okay, yeah, you keep that going. And I liked that the overall like the spirit guides. So you had like obviously the Jaguar was I forget the name of the actual Jaguar, but that was like Imelda's like spirit guide, and then Dante like the really
Crazy
goofy dog that's missing teeth and stuff. Again, modeled after real dogs that are native to Mexico. Like that's sort of like the from like Hector's side of the family, but still helping out Miguel. Like you can tell, like just still loyal companion and everything.
And then when he gets wings and starts changing colors.
Yeah, he's like, I'm doing it. Yeah.
What's funny is that like when like he's learning how to fly, he's just like spinning around. Like,
Yeah.
he's flying somehow, but it's like
But he's like on
spinning,
one
like-
side. It's like if you're trying to like row a boat or a canoe on one oar, it's just like, nope, I'm stuck.
Well, one wing or whatever is kind of like broken and
Yeah.
like, tilted,
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
just
why.
it's just goofy. Yeah.
He has a lucky wing, like how Nemo has a lucky fin.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, one of my favorite moments is kind of like the first official time where Miguel plays,
Mhm.
and so he's trying to get like his ticket to go see what's his face
Ernesto de la Cruz.
Cruz.
Oh, and the
Scenes
And then he plays in Poco
competition.
Loco, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that scene's really good, and then like it shows that like he's really good at singing, he's good at playing, and then even at the time you don't know it's him, but you know his grandfather's like, oh, wow, like this kid's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a very cool
His
scene.
That became a very popular song.
It's his great grandfather. When you think about it, like from like the times onward,
Because
Right?
the great grandma is
Yeah.
because his
Coco.
great grandma is Coco, so then her father
Right.
is
Great-
Hector,
great-
right.
and Imelda is her mother. So it's like great grandmother and great grandfather.
Yeah.
So like. And that's just like, and it's cool because I remember like I'm seeing the movie and people always are like, man, if you had the opportunity to go and like connect with that legacy of
Your
line,
family,
back
yeah.
there, and like get their, like insights. And it's funny how, like the other family members kind of just like like they reminded me a little bit like the ancestors in Mulan, how they're just like kind of like talking smack about each other, like even in the afterlife, like
Yeah.
that's
Like, it
like
keeps
has that
going.
like familial banter that keeps it going, and then at the same time like they can go and then do their interactions on the Day of the Dead with the living. So and like yeah, it's really fun. It's just those kind of things, just like hey, that's cool. And like a lot of the fun sight gags. You guys were watching it at the tail end of the movie, but the two like great uncles or whatever that
the
like
Theos.
yeah, those tios, and they're like, hey, give me your
Nunchuck
arms.
arms.
Nunchuck arms. Like, it's just like good. Like, they're just like, hey, we're going to make this happen. Like, it was really, really cool. Like, just like, overall good emotions. Like, but then, like, yeah, I know you mentioned like the heartfelt stuff, like towards the very end when Miguel gets back to the end of the living.
That
it's
was like the moment.
oh, that's the moment where everybody's like, oh man, like, Mama Coco's
but it's
like,
like good
yeah.
emotional.
And then she's like, wait, like she's very lucid and she's like present. Like, because you remember like early in the movie, she's just there like, haha, like just like, yeah, like just kind of like there in her wheelchair, like, or just like,
just making it along.
just getting along and, living the rest of her days, just being like happy and kind of there sometimes, kind of not, and sleepy. Like she'd be like, yeah, and then like doze off. But then like she was finally lucid, like, yeah, look, I have my dad's letters. I even have this. And he's just like, oh snap, it's the missing part of the picture. And then that's what
I like that missing part came back.
yeah, that was the big part. Just like, man, where did the picture go? It's just like, oh, it's Coco had it all along. So, and that would like help connect the dots to realize like, yeah, like this plus of the history of all the poems and letters. Like, oh no, this shows that this guy,
Like he's the true artist.
he's the true artist behind everything. And De La Cruz just sang it and stole like, he was like the face of it and stole the credit. And again, we cannot stress this enough. He poisoned the man. So it's just like, oh, he got his comeuppance by getting hit with, or getting a
Bell
giant
tower.
bell tower falling on him
Twice.
He's got his bell wrong.
twice.
Nice.
Yeah, especially considering it was Imelda's like the spirit animal jaguar is like just rolled up and was just like, nah, like just smacked him up.
Yeah, by the end of the movie, they were like slowly building up like all the nice moments. It was like the family all got back together when they were still in the Kingdom of the Dead or whatever they called it. And then they reunite Hector and his wife, and then
You were the love of my life. He's like, I don't know. I said a lot of things. I don't care.
and then by the time like they have to send Miguel back when they're giving him normally throughout the movie they were trying to give him conditions like, yeah, we'll send you back, but
Do this.
throughout the movie they're like, you can do this and this, but no music. And by the end they're like, no conditions, like music is a part of our lives. It's like you should do whatever you want to do. And then he races back, and then to the moment where he's trying to make Coco remember her father. But yeah, it was just like the long string of like, are you gonna cry it? You're gonna cry it? Now you're gonna
Yeah.
cry. It's
You're like,
now you're gonna cry.
if you were holding it back, you were a scrub because here it comes, bam, and smacked you good. Yeah,
And then right after that moment, then it's like the 1 year later,
Yeah.
And it was like
and then more like happy tears, like look at them, they're all reunited.
They put the
together.
photo up.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
and then it's cool. Then you see even was it Pepita? I think that's the name of the cat or the jaguar, like Pepita, and
Yeah, it turns
then
into a cat.
Dante, and then they cross over, and there's like the dog and cat in the town. You're like, hey, look at that, and then like they're still like have
They're still
their way to
going.
cross her onto. It was really great. Like the movie's just it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I get a nice
It's
warm
like
and fuzzy thinking
the
about
montage of like the family all being together and happy, and he's over here playing up a storm with
Yeah,
his.
Pepita, yeah.
He's got like his mariachi uniform on and
Good balance
singing
of,
a good song at the end. Yeah, it was cool. It was a good ending.
of humor too.
Yeah,
Funny.
again, it hits all the right notes. It does, if you want to laugh, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be happy and emotional. You're gonna be happy and emotional. Like there's nowhere out where this movie like it's like a perfect film like in terms of animation.
good
Like, it did
pacing, too.
everything well. Yeah, it's not super long either.
Yeah,
An hour,
It's
like
hour
47?
40. Yeah, hour 45 with like with credits. So
This was before the Frozen short that showed up. That I remember seeing in theaters when that came out.
What
It
was the
an
short for this
hour
one?
and 45. It
that was
actually was
the one with Olaf, I think.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, actually, you're right, Anthony. An hour and 45. Exactly. Freaking Mama Coco. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Mama Coco with the luchador mask. That jump was hilarious. And she's just there like, yeah. Like, she's just like she's like with it, but not with it. But even so, it's just still too funny. Oh man, no, it's too good, man. It's just like, no, I don't want to eat. It's like, you're not hungry? No. Like, yeah, it's just, there's so many good things that just kind of connect. Yeah, it was kind of like the same similar things like when we were talking about Blue Beetle before. It's like
Yeah,
the
like
family
the-
relations and everything too. Like that stuff they get right.
Like the
Like-
culture and family.
Yeah. Like you know that like that has to be a key component of it if you're making a story like this.
Yeah. And everyone relates to it. Like, everyone has their family that has their own things. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, it's kind of very similar. No matter what.
No matter what. Yep.
So-
in the end, yeah. So do we
Rating
do we have
wise.
to rate it? Like we have to. Oh yeah. I mean, because like before we rate it, like we do have to talk. Like I remember this thinking about this. I was talking to Anthony. I was like, hey man, did you ever watch The Book of Life? And like that was like a 20th Century Fox like animated film, and all I remember is that Diego Luna and Channing Tatum and Zoe Saldana were in it. Like that's all I remember. But
That was
the animation is
2014.
more like it has a starker, unique, more like almost like marionette style of animation to it. I remember like the plot was kind of all over the place. Not all over the place, but the plot was really like, there were normal human beings, but then you had like deities doing stuff and like meddling. It was like weirdly Greek, like that, but also dealing with a bit of the like kind of like that same Day of the Dead aesthetic. It's just like it was just it was like weirdly centered on like a love triangle, if I remember correctly. So.
Yeah, of like gods.
Yeah, and like the gods like, oh, who's gonna win and who's gonna do this? So like it was cool, also freaky, like the big bull like thing going on, like that. It's like it looked almost like a like a piñata, but I think the art style is really cool. Like it was its own unique thing, but it did not reach the massive success that like Coco did. Partly maybe because of the whole the Disney engine behind it and the Pixar pedigree, but it's interesting. Like it's almost like you don't want to talk about one without the other, but like I think like it would still be worth a watch just to like take in the aesthetic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know where Book of Life is streaming, if it's streaming anywhere. I know
I think it's on HBO Max.
it's on the Max.
I
The
think
one
so.
to watch for HBO.
The one to watch for the Book of Life.
The one to watch for the Book of Life.
It is streaming on Max right now.
Okay. So cool. Yeah. So if you want to keep this trend going after watching Coco, you can
And
get one.
obviously,
Book of Life
Coco's
is
on-
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as good as Coco, but it's still a fun movie.
Yeah,
Good
you can
cast.
also watch.
Yeah.
What was the opening sequence? Was it Spectre? That had the Day of the Dead
Spectre?
sequence.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that sequence is really cool too. I'm just gonna bring
The
up
one
stuff.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring
That
up.
was cool.
Was it Spectre or
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it?
yeah. No.
Yes, it was
Yeah. It was Spectre. Because then the other one was No Time to Die. Had like some other stuff. And that opening sequence is also really good too. But anyway, yeah. Any other Day of the Dead ish things? I wouldn't really say Day of the Dead, but it does have tie into Mexican culture. Just rewatch Nacho Libre. Like, come on. Like, that movie's awesome. Like, that movie is too good. I'll never not rewatch Nacho Libre. But with that being said, if we were talking about like Disney pedigree and stuff, like how would we like if you're like I don't even want to dare and say like what would I rate this like.
Rate it.
I think we all agree on
Like,
that.
Rate it.
Kind of where we're putting it.
Like freaking, I give this movie a 10. Like this movie is just too good. Like it's in the upper echelon of like the Pixar top tiers. Like it's too good. I don't know. Like it's 9 or 10. Like if I'm gonna be really really strict, then maybe a 9. I don't know because it's like, you know, 'cause Michael Giacchino didn't win an Oscar for it, but like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like if I'm really really strict, 9. But if I'm being really like,
It was no incredible
There.
soundtrack.
yeah, then you know that's where I'm at. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm up there. It's yeah, for me it's top tier Pixar. They pretty much did what, you know, what Disney and Pixar do best. Like we said earlier, they're not really movies for kids, but it's still very watchable for kids. And this movie also had like lessons for kids and adults. So it's like a lot of movies don't really have that. Like they could have certain messages, but it's like, you know, it's like messages about like family, messages about chasing your dream, because his dream was, you know, he wanted to be a musician, and even though people kept telling him not to, he's like, but that's
Or your
what I
own
want to do.
family telling
Yeah.
you not to.
Right. So it's like learning, but by the end, he even understood like, yeah, that's my dream, but like at the end of the day, like I understand that like I need to stick with my family. But then also by the end, they were like, yeah, we're family, and we also should support you, and also because they realized, you know, hey, music used to be part of like our whole family's lives anyway. But yeah, and also the whole thing with music, how just like how like the importance of music, just like in general, like in our society, and like what it can do to you, just like playing an old song for an older woman, just like pretty much woke her up. And that's
Or-
true. That happens.
That happens a lot. Where
Yeah,
like
that
there's a
happens in real
certain core memory that's just
Yeah.
like gets
Yeah,
unlocked.
like
with
music
that.
is a huge thing to the human mind. So
Or in the scene in the middle of the movie where he's like, "Oh, play me my favorite song."
Uh-huh.
You know, so
yeah, so just like those themes, not many movies do, and usually when Pixar or Disney do it, and when they do it well, they're at the top of their game. So yeah, for me, I'd probably give it like a 9.5. It's like it's definitely, I think it's like top 5, if not top 7, because I know we can quickly go down the list and like, no matter how good this movie is, they're like, oh wait, but there might be 7 others in front of this movie just because Pixar, their top movies are that good. And this guy also did Toy Story 3, and I mentioned before, that's like one of my favorite Pixar movies, if not my favorite. And so it's like, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing, and he works with a lot of good people to get good results on his movies. So yeah, definitely top tier Pixar.
I agree.
Yeah.
Top tier Pixar
Very
for
good.
me.
What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's one of their because they have so many good movies.
Exactly.
They say, oh, top 5
It's
or
kind of like
top
it's kind of
10
like when we were
movie,
talking
but
about
it's like-
Nolan. You're like, dude, this movie's incredible. But then you start listing Nolan's movies. You're like,
You're like,
damn,
damn.
this movie's incredible. It's like his 8th best. You're like, Jesus.
Like, come on, like.
It's
the same thing. It's like-
we can say it's like a top 5 or a top 10, but we can't put it in order unless
I mean,
you have
you
like a
can.
definitive number 1.
Like
But
just
it's
rattle
hard
off
to, like,
really quick. You
everything else is kinda
at least for
mixed
me, it's like Toy Story 3, Up, maybe like Wall-E, and then this, and like Finding
Wall-E,
Nemo,
this, Finding
and then
Nemo, Inside
Incredibles.
Out,
and then Incredibles, and then you're like, Jesus. So where does this fall?
Yeah,
Those
that's what
that
I'm
we
saying.
just listed.
Like you can't pick like, okay,
yeah.
this I feel like should be number 3 because I like it more than this one, but this one's also really good.
And I just said Toy Story
can't.
3. You can literally put all 3 in like the top 5 if you wanted to.
yeah,
If you wanted to.
it's crazy that
Even 4, like 4 is still a good movie. I don't think it's as good as
We're not even
the
talking about
others,
like
but
things like A
4 is
Bug's
still good.
Life, which is basically just like 47 Ronin.
Monsters
but,
Inc. Like
Monsters Inc.
Inside Out. Like there's so
Yeah.
many, dude. There's so many.
There is just
Like there
Sitting in the
when
Incredibles,
when Pixar hits, like they hit really hard,
Yeah.
and then they're like, yeah, let's have like 15 of those that hit really hard.
Yeah, so then we have a collection of just we go
Like-
to town and
It used to
Doing
be automatic that like whatever Pixar movie came out that year,
Like,
that
it
was
was
just
top tier.
best movie of the year at the Oscars, and it was
well,
like,
except for Crest 2.
and it was like with no question. Damn. The thing is, we gotta check though. Did Cars 2 win
No,
best
it did
Oscar?
not.
Okay, probably not. But,
Absolutely did not.
but I'm just saying,
far off.
most years, whatever Pixar movie
Yeah.
came out that year.
We don't
did
talk about that year.
Did Cars 2 come out with another Pixar movie that same year? Because maybe it got overshadowed by
No,
something
this
else.
was when they were still doing like one
a year.
One a
movie
year.
maybe one every other year, kind of almost. It came out 2011. 2011.
You know what movie came out 2011 and was definitely better than Cars 2? Adventures of Tintin,
Oh, it was.
which is that just your boy,
That's a
that's our
great
boy
movie.
Spielberg.
That one probably
Well,
won.
great
the thing is,
That one had a
Cars
Oscar.
2 came out a year after Toy Story 3.
You go from
Guys.
one of the best movies you've ever made to one of the worst movies.
Oh, man.
Toy Story 3 was
Puss in
nominated
Boots
for
and
Best
Kung Fu
Picture.
Panda 2.
Toy Story 3 was
Oh, Kung Fu
nominated for
Panda
Best Picture.
Kung Fu Panda 2.
That's top tier right there.
But yeah, like, you know, Pixar is not 100%, but they're like 90%.
Their track record
It's
like
90%.
is insane. Like 95% of the movies are great. You have the odd.
Not many people saw it, but Elemental is a good movie. People
Yeah.
should
I'm gonna
watch
watch
it.
it
It's a
next.
good movie.
I haven't been able to see it.
It's
The,
not- it's
the
not on
advertising
Disney Plus.
was terrible.
I'm gonna watch it
The
this
advertising was
weekend.
The
terrible.
trailer did not match up with
It
the
wasn't.
movie was.
It was bad.
But I enjoyed
Because
it.
all the trailers that I watched made me not want to watch it. And it's a Pixar movie. I think I've seen every Pixar movie except for Cars.
The first one?
All of them. All three.
The first one's
All five,
good. The first
however
one's
many
good.
car movies.
I wanna
it
watch
has
the third
moments,
one.
but it's overall good.
But yeah, I've seen every other one, and it used to be like, oh, as a Pixar movie, I'm gonna watch that. It's almost like a Marvel movie. It's like, oh, I'm gonna watch that.
And like the 2020 onward, well,
Onward's good.
onward,
I liked Onward.
like
too.
2020 and after
Onward.
we had Onward, Soul.
I like Onward a
Luca,
lot.
Onward was
Yeah.
good.
Turning Red.
Those are good. Like, so they were relegated to just
Yeah.
being on digital or on
They
Disney
just,
Plus.
they just
but-
didn't make money. That
So
was
best
the thing.
animated film that came out. We're on a tangent here, but the best animated film for that won the Oscar the year that Cars 2 came out was
Uh-huh.
Rango,
Hey, I agree.
which was really good.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah,
It's a cool movie.
The lizard movie.
Yeah, there's a movie. The
Dude,
animation
no,
was
the
I heard
good.
it's
Gecko
really
movie.
good.
Or
It's a
Gecko.
cool movie.
With Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's cool.
Gore
You know who
Verbinski,
directed it?
man.
The guy who directed the Pirates movies.
Yeah,
That's why Johnny Depp is the
is
main
the
character.
main character.
Not Bruckheimer. He
No,
produced.
Gore
Well, he produced
Verbinski.
it, but Gore
Him.
Verbinski,
Okay,
the
yeah, that was
director,
what I was
he
thinking of.
directed Rango.
Oh, okay.
Watch it. You'll like it.
I
It's
mean,
good.
it makes sense. You got Johnny Depp in there too.
Yep.
Well,
I've never
Rango's
watched
cool.
that movie.
But yeah, man.
And then 2012
Top tier
was
Pixar.
Brave, but I think Wreck-It Ralph should have won that year. But
I agree.
Yeah.
Brave is a good movie, but I don't think it hits those top like 10.
It's kind of like The Good Dinosaur. Like,
Yeah,
it's a good movie, but it doesn't stand out as.
yeah, I
as
think it's still
incredible.
pretty dang good. But I think it's like, especially like I think like there are some themes like I remember my sister watching it. She's like, "This movie's incredible" because of like
The Good
Mother-daughter.
Dinosaur.
the mother-daughter like relationship and everything. There, like that was like okay, this they like, a lot of that was nailed.
Did
There,
she like
so.
Turning Red?
Yes, she also really liked Turning Red. I mean,
Turning
Turning
Red's
Red.
good. That's a
Turning
good
Red
one.
is like one of these this and what's the name of this movie that just came out where they don't talk about Bruno? What's the name of that movie?
Encanto.
Encanto. Yeah, or like Encanto and Turning Red is just like generational guilt of like in two different ends of the spectrum.
Uh-huh.
So like you know they nailed it. They did it well.
So there's only been 2 years that Coco does 2 movies in that same year.
Pixar does 2
Pixar.
movies the same year. He said Coco does 2 movies.
Okay, Pixar.
Yeah,
You know what I meant.
surprise.
Well, I
Coco
know
was
the
an
year
actress.
Good Dinosaur came out. That was like the second.
So
movie.
it was So it was Inside Out, and then The Good Dinosaur in 2015,
Okay.
and then in 2017 it was Cars 3 and Coco.
There you go.
I thought
Get Red Cars.
20 was it? I thought maybe 2020 or 2021 had 2 Pixar movies.
You mean
Oh, that's right. Sorry,
Luca?
2020. It
Luca and
was
Soul?
March and then Christmas.
Onward and Luca.
Onward
right?
and Soul.
Soul.
Onward and Soul.
okay,
But then the
Oh,
following
yeah.
year was Luca and
Oh,
something else.
2020. That was 2020. Yeah, Onward and Soul.
2021 was Luca.
Luca
and-
was 2021. Oh, here they put Turning Red March 2022.
and Lightyear.
Lightyear.
Lightyear
just-
in
But
2020.
they just didn't both
that's
come out in theaters.
for-
Yeah.
one was
Yeah,
Disney
one
Plus.
was, that's why it didn't. Okay.
But one of the wasn't Lightyear delayed?
I don't think so.
I thought it was delayed in
I think they did
it
delay
was slightly delayed. Yes, it was
because
slightly delayed.
Maybe.
but was it supposed to come out the year before?
I don't know.
Delayed.
I thought it was supposed to come out in.
Maybe it got delayed
Because
a few months.
they usually do like a June release. Most of all these movies have a June
Yeah,
summer
And
release.
then Elemental was like in June. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't think Elemental got delayed for anything.
Wasn't that like
No, it
August?
It wasn't. I mean,
Lightyear was
July,
June
right?
it
17th.
came out like in
Elemental was
March,
June
April, right?
16th.
June.
Oh wow, it's
Yeah.
been 4.
No, dude, we're November.
Or
now.
November.
Yeah, I'm saying it's been like 4 months.
And
Almost 4
then
months, yeah.
5
um,
months.
Damn.
5 months.
Inside Out 2 will be the next movie, which is
Next year,
June next year.
Xavier's like, damn, she's a teenager now. No.
And
No, stuff's
Wait,
gonna
which one?
happen. I'm
Wait,
freaking
Inside
out.
Inside Out 2.
Inside Out 2. Like, I'm not prepared for this movie. I'm gonna be
Yes,
a
they're
mess.
making a sequel. of
Hey,
Inside
wow,
Out.
how do I not remember them saying they were
Yeah,
gonna
they
sequel?
did.
A while back, Iger was like, we should make more sequels.
Yeah.
Like Inside Out 2, and they're going to make
Well, we have Elio.
the movie with the animals, the Disney movie. Zootopia 2.
Zootopia 2.
They're going to
Yeah.
make a Zootopia 2.
Oh, I heard
It's
about that one, too.
Zootopia is not a Pixar film.
And
it's still
apparently
good.
they want to make a Toy Story 5.
Chief Buffalo.
Yeah,
Idris Elba.
they've been talking about that for.
Idris
a while.
Elba was so cool in Zootopia.
But at least the confirmed ones we got is Inside Out 2,
Mm-hmm.
2024, and then Elio
In
2025.
2025.
Hey, that's coming up.
2025 is coming.
No,
No,
the
Inside Out.
Inside Out 2. That's
So-
why, man.
But
I'm
that's-
going there like emotionally guarded.
When is that movie Wish coming out? Because I know that's Disney animation. Is that this year?
Later
That's
this year.
like
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
holiday.
Thanksgiving or something like that? Thanksgiving.
Well, anyway, 9.5.
Oh yeah, we did all that was for Zach to finally come around to say 9.5. I'll give it a Cars 2, 9.5.
I'm going to be with X here. I'm just going to give it
9
a
to
10.
10.
Yeah, just
Nice.
like 9
A
to 10.
10.
Yeah.
No, a 10.
He's
10.
like just straight up 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
Good.
it. Just
That's
10.
really good.
Yeah. No, dude.
Very,
That's
very
really where
good.
it's at. Yeah, man. So again, at this point, most people who are, I guess, who are into film and into like animation and stuff, you've seen Coco. If not, just go watch it, man. Like the movie's really good. And if you've seen it already, you know, you get take time, especially around this time of year. Go ahead and give it a rewatch.
You don't have to be Latino to enjoy it. It's a very good movie, regardless.
Watch it with your family. It's a good family watch.
Oh man, yeah. No one, yeah. Family movie is gonna be really good. Like again, it's like not family because it's like accessible. It's family
No.
because it's just everyone's gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's just
Something to talk about too
Vin
afterwards.
Diesel wants
Exactly.
you to enjoy this movie.
You
That's
watch
nice.
it at the cookout with
He's at the end. Spoiler.
He's like,
He's at the end.
I used to run with Miguel.
Yeah,
Let's race.
Dominic Toretto would be proud of this movie.
exactly.
He gets his stamp of approval.
He would approve. He would give it his seal of
Seal of approval.
his Corona of approval.
His Corona approval.
2 wheelies up.
Oh man,
Nice.
too good. With that being said, Danny, what do our popcorn watch list audience have to look forward to for next time?
So this week we're going to be talking about Loki season 2.
Which will have wrapped up by the time we kind of go and do our recording. So I'm legit excited. I've been really enjoying Loki season 2, so we'll get to that deep dive. Those of you who don't want to be spoiled or have not need to catch up, be warned, there will be some spoilers being brought up on next week's episode, all right? So don't say we didn't warn you. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are listening to us on your podcast platform of choice or on one of our clips here on YouTube, thank you so much for that. Please give us a like and subscribe on those platforms. We're also up on X, formerly known as Twitter, Threads, Instagram, which we recently hit 1,000 followers. So thank you again so much to that. And look out for some of our polls and outreach that we have going on. So thank you again so much, everybody. And we'll catch you guys next time on
Later.
the timeline.
Adios.
Hasta luego.